Okay, we're up to the Mishnah. Good vach to all. We're up to the Mishnah and Daf Tes Vav Amid Beis. Tes Vav Amid Beis. Chamisha Tamim. There are 5 Tamim. Chamisha Tamim. There are 5 Tamim. Chamisha Muadim. And there are 5 Muadim. Now, this is the first pshat in the Mishnah. It'll change in the Gemara, but this is the first pshat. Habehema Eino Muedes. Leiligoich, not to gore with its horns. That's the Av. Leiligoif, not to push with its spirit. Leilashach, not to bite. Leilirvitz, not to crouch down upon. Leilivite, not to kick. These are all the toldos of Karen, you might recall. So these are Chamish Tamim, right? You 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have Negifa, Neshicha, Revitza, and Bita. Those are the 5 Tamim. Now, what are the 5 Mu'adim? Hashem Mu'edes Lechal S'roila. Shein is the Mu'ad to eat what's normal for it to eat. That's number 1. Haregel Mu'edes Lishba B'derech Hilucha. Regel is the Mu'ad to break when it's walking is 2. V'shor HaMu'ad, a Keren 3 times. V'shor HaMazik B'shus HaNizik. That's Keren the first time in the B'shus HaNizik according to Reb Tarfin. That's 4. The Adam is 5. Haze'ev, the wolf. V'ha'ari, and the lion. V'hadov, the bear. V'haneme v'habardalis. The bardalis, the Mefarshim struggle to go ahead and define exactly what a bardalis is. I've seen pshatim from polecat, meaning a very small weasel type animal, to a leopard, to the other extreme, the leopard. And if you touch bardalis is a leopard, then Ferris Stroll tells us a nemer is a tiger. So in other words, or some people say, as we're going to see in the Gemara, it was an appa. It was some type of spotted animal. So it could be a leopard, it could be a cheetah, it could be a hyena. In other words, if they struggle to find what the bardalis is. Needless to say, it's a meat eater and it's dangerous. And these are mu'adim. Now, they're not counted in the 5. We'll see why. And also, what does it mean they're mu'adim? Rebbe Lezer Omer, Bisman Shein B'nei Tarbis, when they're trained, when they're domesticated, Einim mu'adim, they're not mu'adim. V'anachash mu'ad la'olam. So according to the Tanakama, these animals, no matter what, whether they're domesticated, trained, it doesn't make a difference, they're mu'adim. There's no parsha of chatzi nezik by these animals. And the Rebbe Lezer says, well, there is a parsha of chatzi nezik if they've been trained. A trained lion, you'd have a parsha of chatzi nezik, of Karen. And the Nachash, Rabbi Lezer says, however, a Nachash is a Mu'ad Olam. Now, there's a huge machlokes across the board. So I'd like to break up the share to 2 parts. The first part is to understand the first part of the Mishnah, and the latter part to go ahead and try to understand the opinion of these wild creatures, these wild animals. So let's concentrate on the first part, the numbers game of 5 Tamim, Mashma, Negicha, Neshicha, Nesicha, Vitza, and Be'ita. And then the 5 Mu'adim starting from Karen, Shane, Karen, the order was Shane, Regel, Karen, and Karen 3 times, Karen B'Shus HaNizik, and Adam. Now, Midiktani Hashem Mu'edes Le'achol, when it said the Shane is a Mu'ad to eat what's normal for it to eat. Now, where is Shane Chayiv, guys? Shane is Chayiv, by now we know, only U'B'Shus HaNizik, Be'er B'Steyacher. Mechlal de B'Chatzar HaNizik Askinon. If it's Chayiv, it must be speaking b'chatzar nizik. Ukitani, a behema eina muedes, right? It said the words, guys, look at the Mishnah, the 2nd line. A behema eina muedes, loy ligach. Says the word, behema eina muedes, l'shalim kula, avachatzi neges v'shalemes. It's not a mu'ad to pay nezek shalem. It's a mu'ad to pay chatzi nezek. Money, who's the Rabbanon? It's the Rabbanon, who says, the Amar, mishuna keren b'chatzar nizik, nezek shalem mishalem. Ema Seifa, Shor HaMu'ad v'Shor HaMazik v'Shus HaNizik v'Adam. Asan Reb Tarfin, Dama Mishuna Keren b'Chatzar Nizik v'Nesek Shalem v'Shalem. Okay, we have a stira in the Mishnah. Let's go back to the Mishnah and identify the stira. For case number 1, go back to the Mishnah. I'm going to stick the stira in. Chamisha Tam v'Chamisha Mu'adim, HaBehema Eina Mu'edes Le'ligach Liga. Now, the next line, the 4th line, Hashem Mu'edes Lechal Zeroila. So that line goes ahead and gives us the locale. Where are we speaking? We're speaking the chutzner of the nizik, correct? That's why Shane is chayiv. Again, guys, Shane is part in Rishus Rabim. So therefore, we're speaking the chutzner and nizik. Now, Go up 2 lines. Habehema ena muedes. It's not mued. Where? Guys, where is it not a mued? In the chutzner of the nizik. What is it? It's a tam. What does it pay? Chatzi nezek. So this is the opinion. This is the opinion that Keren in the Rishus of the Nizik still pays Chatzi Nezek as it does in Rishus Rabim. That's the opinion of the Rabbanan. Good? Now, continues the Mishnah. Hashem Muedes Lechas Aroila, that's 1. Regel Muedes Lishbar Derech Hilucha is 2. Shara Mued Keren 3 times is 3. Next line is what we need. Shor Hamazik Bishus HaNizik. Meaning, Keren the first time where? In the Rishus HaNizik is what? Is a Mued. Pays Nezek Shaling. There's your stira. There's your stira. This is Reb Tarfin. The first part says Keren in the Chatzar Nizik pays Chatzi Nezek. The latter says the Shura Mazik B'Shus HaNizik is Reb Tarfin. So now the Gemara, yes, back in the Gemara now. Reisha Rabbanon, the Sefer Reb Tarfin. Someone's at the door. Reisha Rabbanon, the Sefer Reb Tarfin. Is it possible the Reisha is the Rabbanon and the Sefer is Reb Tarfin? Guys, do you see the stira, fellas? Fellas, you see the stira? No? Not so good? Okay, one more time. One more time. Here is the stira. I'll give it to you outside. How much does Keren pay in Rishus HaNizik? According to the inference from the Reisha, it's Chatzi Nezek. According to the inference from the Seifa, it's Nezek Shalim. Right? That's the stira. How did you get there? How did you get there? It said, Shein is a mu'id. Mu'id isn't speaking in B'chatzar Nizik. It said the line above that Keren pays Chatzi Nezek in that Rishus, where Shein pays Nezek Shalim. Therefore, it's Rabbanon. Then it says Shor HaMazik B'Shus HaNizik among the Mu'adim. The Shor that's Mazik B'Shus HaNizik pays Nezek Shalim. Who is that? Reb Tarfin. So you have the safe Reisha, the Reisha Rabbanon, the safe Reb Tarfin. We want the mission, of course, the symmetry to be according to what? One Tana. Says the Gemara, we have no other choice. According to this, says in the Amar Lei Shmuel Rav Yehuda Shinin a sharp one Shavik Maslisan. Don't try to answer it up. V'toya Basrei Reish Rabbanim B'Sefer Reb Tarfin. That's the easy way out. That's the easy way out. It remains the Mishnah is according to two Tanoim. We're gonna go ahead, guys, and give 2 attempts. One that the whole Mishnah is Reb Tarfin, and the other attempt is the whole Mishnah is the Rabbanan. Got it? Now, Rabbi Lazar Mishmei the Rav Amid Aleph. Kula Reb Tarfin he. The whole thing is Reb Tarfin. Now, if the whole thing is Reb Tarfin, we have to answer the Reisha. The Reisha is the one that says Keren is Chatzi Nezek B'Shus HaNizik, right? The Sefer of Shor HaMazik B'Shus HaNizik, that's clear. So we have to answer up the Reisha. Kula Reb Tarfin he. Reisha is speaking B'Chatzar HaMiyuchedes LePeiris. They both have rights to Peiris there. Le'echa mehem. Excuse me. B'Chatzar HaMiyuchedes LePeiris le'echa mehem. Only one person has rights for Peiris. Uzel Shvarim, and they both have rights for Shvarim. So, guys, we went through this the other day. Guys, let's think about this outside before we see the words of the Gemara. If I have a right to have my Peiris there and Kenny doesn't, so regarding Shane, it's Chatzar Nizik. If we both have rights to be there for what? For Shvarim, so therefore what it's going to be? If we both have, it's going to be Rishus Harabim vis-a-vis Keren. So very good. The Reisha is speaking where they have rights for Peiris. Only one, me, Kenny not. We both have rights for Sharim. So if Kenny's Shor eats up my Peiris, it's Bir Bistayacha, you can pay Nezek Shalim. You can pay Nezek Shalim. V'shemu edes lechas aroyla. Why will Kenny or myself only be Chayiv Chatzi Nezek? Because we both had rights for our Shvarim to be there, similar to Rishus Harabim. Says the Gemara, that's the teretz according to Rebbe Lazar. Kul Reb Tarfani, Reisha b'chatzim yuchedes lepeiris, le'echa mehem, ulezeh l'shvarim. The legabe shein have lechatzar and nizik, thus you can pay nezek shalem. Legabe Keren have rishus harabim, and therefore you're going to pay chatzi nezek. Good. Rav Kahana, Amiras l'shmaitza kamed Rav Zvid. I said over the sugi Rav Zvid mei Nadoi from the town of Nadoi, and he had a problem with Rebbe Lazar's pshat. Amar li, mi matzis muk misla kula Reb Tarfin. Can you possibly say that the Mishnah is going according to Reb Tarfin? Can you possibly say that the whole Mishnah is going according to Reb Tarfin? Hakatani says there. What does it say there? Hashein mu'edes lecha lesaroyilun. Shein is a mu'ed to eat what's right for it to eat. Good. Now, guys, outside, where is Shein Chayev? Which location? You're all muted, but let's say the words B'chatzar Nizik. right? Again, shein is loim chatzon nizik. It's the now. It's what is it eating? It's eating vegetables. What happens if it would eat up your shirt? What is that called? That's called keren. It's mishuna. It's different, correct? Now, what's the inference, guys? That's the inference. Eating peiris, you pay what? Nezek shalim. Eating your shirt, you be chayiv chatzi nezek. But 1 second. Rav Tarfon holds what? Mishuna keren b'chatzra nizik, nezek shalim mishalim. So it can't be Rav Tarfon. Says the Gemara, beautifully, a beautiful inference, guys. Mi matzas mukul Rav Tarfon. Haktani Hashemu edes lechas a roila. Roila, daf gets roifit to eat peiris yirakos in shein roila. If it eats meat or it eats a shirt, loy. Rav Tarfon hama mishuna keren l'chatzar nizik desik shal mishalem. So therefore it can't be Rav Tarfon. Ela la'olam, who must it be? Rabbanan he. It's the Rabbanan. The Chesuri Mechsura and the Mishnah is missing words. Now, guys, when we learned the five tamim, we learned what? We learned that 5 tamim are liga lisha right? And then we learned what? And then we learned the 5 mu'adim, starting with shein, regel, chatzar masik b'shus hanizik, and then we learned and then we stated adam and sharamud. Okay, not that order. So let's change the gears around. Chamisha tamim heim. There are 5 tamim. We know what they are. Them hudu, and if you go ahead and make them mu'adim, chamish mu'adim. So you just changed the Mishnah, guys. Before we continue, fellas, look at look at me, eye contact. Here's the way we learned initially, and here's where we're changing. 5 tamim you got. Negicha, Negifa, Neshicha, Revitza, Beita. Good. Those are the 5. 5 mu'adim we learned was shein, regel, sharamuid, chatzra nizik, and we learned adam. Those are the 5. No. These 5 are off now. These are 5 tamim. And if you make them a mu'id, they're 5 mu'adim. So you took care of all 10 with the first 5. You got it? Again, Negicha, Neshicha, Revitza, Beita. And if these 5 become mu'adim, then the 5 mu'adim. So now, when you're starting with shein, regel, those aren't not part of the count. We finished the count off with the kerem becoming a mu'id. And the male is going to remove the question. It's all Rabbanan. So now let's go through the Gemara and then we'll stick it back in the Mishnah. Says the Gemara beautifully. Chamisha tamim heim, v'mhudu, and if they become muadim, chamisha muadim, v'shein v'regel muadim mitchilasan, v'heichin he'dasan, v'chatzar nizik. Where does it take place? It's not speaking about shar hamasik b'shus nizik. It's speaking about the location of shein v'regel, which is chatzar nizik. So, guys, let's go back to the Mishnah now. Let's say the way we learned initially, and let's change the way it works out. Okay, guys, watch. Let's go back to the Mishnah. Chamisha tam v'chamisha muadim. What are the chamish tamim? Behema enu muedes leiliga chaliga v'lisha v'leidervetz leilivite. Now it comes out according to the Chachamim. Why? Because it's speaking about b'chatzar and nizik, and therefore it pays chatzi nezek. Now the five muadim, hashein, haregel, shara muad is keren, shara masif shusan nizik, keren the first time or shusan nizik. There's your 5. That's the way we learned. We had a problem. What's the problem? Shar Muslim Shur Nisik is a Tarfin. The ratio is the Rabbanon. We want now the whole Mishnah to be the Rabbanon. Says the Gemara, the ratio, the whole Mishnah is the Rabbanon. Here's the way you read the Mishnah. Chamisha Tamim, got it? Perfect. Now, and if those 5 Tamim do it 3 times, in other words, it crouches among Kalim 3 times, it kicks 3 times with Kavana, then they become Muadim. So you finish your list. There you go. 5 tamim, 5 muadim. Now, where is shein mued? This is not part of the list, guys. A shein is a muad to ibetz roila. Haregel muedas lishma derech hilucha. Where bishar hamazik b'shus hanizik, in the b'shus hanizik. That's where. So it's not telling us like Reb Tarfin keren b'shus hanizik. It's giving us the location of shein v'regel. So memel, it's not a kasha now. There is no Reb Tarfin. It's all the Rabbanon. Shara Masik B'Shus HaNizik means where are shein v'regel muadim? in the shor in the chutzner of the nizik. That's what it's telling us. That change of girsa goes ahead and it takes care of the problem. Let's see one more time the lashon of the Gemara.
What about Adam? Where does Adam come in?
Okay, again, Adam is a mu'id, but we're not discussing. That's later on. Again,
that's right. Right after says
but that's not part of the count. When it said there are five tamim, five mu'adim, it means the 5 tamim coming mu'adim, and there are the mu'adim also. There's Shane, there's Regel, there's Adam, but they're not part of the count. In other words, where is Shane v'Regel? Your kasha, not a kasha. Stop by Shane v'Regel. Once you got the count in, so I'm listing mu'adim, but not they're part of the count. Okay, so that's now let's learn it inside. Maskul Ravina. No, but that's a kasha. Let's see it inside one more time. So the whole thing is Reb Tarfin. The Reb Tarfin, Amar Meshuna Kem Chazon Shalom. Eloilim Rabbanon He Chsuim Mechsuru Abach Yitani. Chamisha Tamim Hein. V'Im Hudu Chamisha Muadim. Now you don't have a count. So Avi, right now you're finished. Adam's not a problem. Shein Regel Muad Mechilasan. V'Hechin Adasan. Where does the muad take place? B'Chatzar Nizik. Good. So now, fellas, did we discuss Shara Mazik B'Shus HaNizik? Guys, did we discuss Shara Mazik B'Shus HaNizik? We removed that, right? The words, what does the word Shara Mazik mean? Where are Shane and Regel Mazik B'Shus HaNizik? So we didn't count that at all. So take a look at Chaf Dalid, guys. Chaf Dalid Amid Beis. Says the Mishnah, Chaf Dalid Amid Beis. Shara Mazik B'Shus HaNizik Ketzad. What's the example of what? Shara Mazik B'Shus HaNizik Ketzad. What does that mean? When you say Ketzad, meaning you must have listed it before in order to explain it now. But according to the teretz you're giving, we never listed it at all because that was discussing Shem v'Regel. Guys, you're telling me this pshat, Shem, that you're telling me the Mishnah is missing words. And Chatzra Mazik B'Shus HaNizik means that Shem v'Regel Achai B'Shus HaNizik. So what's pshat in this Mishnah over here? Ketzad, meaning you told me that what? Shara Mazik B'Shus HaNizik, Ketzad. You never told me Shara Mazik B'Shus HaNizik. You never mentioned it at all. Fred the Gemara by us, back by us. Amar Ella says the Gemara. Maskul Ravina. Ravina had a kasha. Hakitani l'kaman. Shara Mazik B'Shus HaNizik. We learned about Chaf Daled Amid Beis. Shara Mazik Ketzad. Amar B'Shlema Ariba. Very good if you told me our Mishnah says that it's speaking about Reb Tarfin, right? Mishum Hachi Katani Ketzad. Therefore, you said, what's the case? If you're telling me we never mentioned that case at all, because Shar HaMazik B'Shus HaNizik is simply saying, where's the locale for Shein and Regel? My Ketzad. Gavaldig Kasha, guys. So now, what are we going to do? It's missing words, and here's the way you have to go. We're going to redo the Mishnah again for a third time. Chamisha tamim heim, b'mhudu chamisha muadim. Very good. You took care of your numbers, right? You just took care of your numbers. The 5 muadim are Karen Shem v'Regel. The Shem v'Regel muadim mitchilasan. Shem v'Regel they muad right away. They the first time. V'zehu shar hamuid, and that is shar hamuid. V'shar hamazik b'shus hanizik machlokes Reb Tarfin Rabbanon. And Shara Mu'id is what? Shara Mu'id is Shem v'Regel. And Zeu Shara Mu'id, I guess that's Karen. The Shara Mazik B'Shus HaNizik and Karen B'Shus HaNizik Machlokes of Tafim Rabbanon. V'yesh Mu'adim Acherim, there are the Mu'adim, Kiyotze Be'elu. What are they? Hazeif, Ari, Adoy, V'Arbadlis, V'Nemer, V'Nachash. So that's the final B'Shat. That's the final B'Shat. Tanya Nami Hachi, Chamisha Tamim Heim, V'Muhudu, Chamisha Mu'adim, Shem v'Regel Mu'adim Etchilasan, V'Zeu Shara Amuid, V'Shara Mazik B'Shus HaNizik, Machlokes of Tafim Rabbanon. V'yesh Mu'adim Acherim, Kiyotze Be'elu, Hazeif, Ari, Adoy, V'Nemer, V'Arbadlis, V'Nachash. Okay, so guys, we have pshat now. We don't have a stira. Why don't we have a stira? Right? Why don't we have a stira? Because we said it's a machlokes. Shara Mazik B'Shus HaNizik is a machlokes. It's a machlokes who? The Chachamim and Reb Tarfin. Iked the Rami Lo Mirma. There are those who ask this as a contradiction. Tanan. Chamesh tamim v'chamesh muadim. For suleka, there's only 10. For ika hazei v'ari v'doi v'nemer v'adus v'nachash. Umeshani amravina chsui mechzer v'achi tani. Chamisha tamim heim. V'mhudu chamisha muadim. This kerem becomes muadim if it's done 3 times. V'shem v'regel muadim v'chilason. V'zeu shor amuad. V'shor amazik v'shus hanisik machlokes v'taf from Rabbanon. V'yesh muadim acherim v'rodim muadim. K'yoytz v'elu hazei v'ari v'doi v'nemer v'adus v'hanachash. Okay, so now you have pshat. That pshat in our Mishnah. So our Mishnah we're reading Chamisha Tamim. They become these 5 become Kish Muadim. You have other Muadim. You have Shein v'Regel, which are Muad Mitchilason. Shar Masim Shusanizik is Machloikis Tanoyim, and then you have other ones. Zay v'Riva Devin and Badlis. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay, we said that it's one of the Muadim. One of the tamim that becomes a muad is lirvoitz, to go ahead and crouch down upon kalim. So pashut, it means if you have some type, any animal, the animal goes ahead, runs, jumps up, and pounces down upon kalim, or even walks and crouches upon kalim, that's mishuna, and that's keren. It's told of keren, it pays chatzinesik and mishus rabim, and a machloikis in mishus hanizik. Rabbi Laza. Lo shanu, that it's mishuna for an animal to crouch down among kalim, elapachin gedolim, big kalim. They don't go ahead; they avoid big kalim. Alapachin ketanim, small kalim, urchehu, it's urche, and therefore it would be regel. That urche would be regel, and therefore you'd be pater rishus rabim. So if a person has a small stand of small kalim, an animal goes and walks and decides to lie down them. That is a tolda l'chayr of regel, and you'd be patim shusarabim. If it's large kalim, it's keren, you'd be chayiv chatzinesik the first time. Leima Messiah, I'll bring you a raya to Rebbe Laza. Habehema muedes lahalich kedarko. Habehema is a mued to walk kedarko, which is regel. Ulishaber, and to break. Ulamayich, and to crush esa adam people. Vesa behema, and animals. Vesa kalim. So you see that what? That kalim is possible regel to be kalim, crushes kalim. So that's revitza on kalim, a raya to Rebbe Laza. Says when you have no raya. Maybe it's not crouching down upon. Maybe it's passing by, and with its body, it's pushing it against the wall. In other words, it's a small area, and the kalim are out, and when it walks by, it pushes against the wall, but it never crouched down upon. So therefore, you don't have a raya to Rebbe Laza's din. Ikedi Armi, Amar Rebbe Laza. According to the second lashon, pachim ketanim are also not urche, so therefore it's also keren, regardless of the size of the kli. In the first lashon, there's a distinction between large and small. In the ikadiyami, there's no distinction. Even small kalim would be b'chal keren, and therefore you pay b'shus rabim. Meisivei ulamaychas adam to crush adam mesameim kalim. So l'chayre, that's regel. It's darker l'kach, it's regel. Some Rabbi Loza, Dilma Minatzad. Maybe that's speaking Minatzad, but in a Chinami, if they crouch down upon the small kalim, they would be Chayiv as Keren. Ikad Rami Lemirma, those yes is the stira, Tnan, Leirvoitz, right? And not to crouch down upon Avitani, Lamachas Adam, Vesabkem Vesakalim. So Leirvitza means that what? Crouching down upon your Chayiv on Kalim, your Potter on your Chayiv Keren. And over here it says what darker bekach it's regel. According to the stira, only pachim gedolim would be considered keren, but pachim ketanim would be regel. So therefore, there's different ways to learn. Okay. Let's introduce a little bit over here. Let's go back to the Mishnah. Rashi said that Zeiv, Ari, Doiv, Nemer, Barglis, all these things are what? They're Muadim Mitchilasan. Harelu Muadim, they're all Muadim. What does Rashi say in the Mishnah? Harelu Muadim. Afilu bin Ashicha, even if they bite. Now, we saw biting is a told of what? Of Keren, right? Negifa, Neshicha, biting, just remember, Daf Gimel, based on the base, guys. It's done with the teeth. But again, we don't look at the anatomy, we look at the reason behind it. When an animal bites, biting is kavan lahasik. These animals, when they bite, they're muadim. Rashi says they're muadim even when they bite. Ubechol nezikin, and any nezek. Umeshalmin bailam shalehem nezek shalim. And anyone who owns one of these creatures, there is no parsha of tam, you're going to pay Nezek Shalim. That's the way what? That's the way what the Rashi learns. And the Rambam learns that as well. So there is no parsha of tam according to Rashi. Let's see in the Rambam. Let's see Tosfos. V'anochash Tosfos Tesayin Omid Aleph, guys. The last Tosfos on the page. V'anochash Hari Elu Muadim. Now it doesn't mean that Nachash, it means any animal, right? Again, the Nachash was the last of the. So it's going on all the Zev, the Ri, the Doiv, and the Barlas. Lav b'chol inyani hezek chashivim muadim. They're not considered muadim in any way. Elo kol echad b'midei d'orchei. Anything that is normal for them is they're muadim. Kigoin shebo zev v'taraf. A zev comes along and it kills its prey. It rips it apart. Ari v'doras. The ari pounces down upon it and eats it when it's alive. It doesn't even kill it. It eats it when it's alive. That's doras. It wants fresh meat. All animals, the Shilti Giborin says, fellas, all animals, what they do is they kill and they put it away because they're scared of another animal taking it away. You ever see the leopard? He's always in the tree with his antelope. They're always putting things away because they're scared other ones can get it. The lion's not scared of anybody. So therefore he eats it fresh and alive. He doesn't put it away. That's the norm. So Tosfos is saying, or the ari, if he wants to save it, he puts it away. Alomidi lavurche, thing that's not normal. Kigoin, ari shetoraf va'achal. The ari rips it away and doesn't put it away, but eats it right away. The chen shara zekos lavurchehu lehavim muadim al masham nechatzi nezek. So Tosfos clearly argues on Rashi. Rashi said there is no parsha what of tam by what by these muadim. Tosfos says what? Tosfos says that in fact there is, and interestingly enough, on the Amid Beis, we're going to have the Gemara is going to be mashma like Tosfos, and the Rambam who agrees with Rashi the Lechem Mishnah is going to answer up the Gemara. So just for all intents and purposes, we did the first part of the Mishnah explaining the 5 tam 5 muadim and how it worked out according to Reb Tarfon the Rabbanon. The latter part of the Mishnah tells us these wild beasts, right? Hari elu muadim, says Rashi, always muadim. Says Tosfos, only for things that's normal. But if it's not normal, then it will be what? Mishuna, and they'll pay chatzi nesek. Okay? That's the machlokes Rashi and Tosfos. Good. Now the Gemara digresses to discuss something called a nachash, a really it's a weird Gemara, as you'll see. Says the Gemara, Hazeva Ari and the Bargalis. The Gemara says, "What my Bargalis? What exactly is a Bargalis?" Some Rabbi Yehuda, nafrisa. Okay, that explains it. It's a nafrisa. Now the Gemara, don't feel bad, guys. The Gemara asks, my nafrisa. The Gemara is right away. What's a nafrisa? Some Rabbi Yosef Appa. The Appa, it seems to be some type of mean. It's small polecat. It can be anything, but it's usually something that's spotted. Meisibe Remei Oime Afat Tzavoya. The Tzavoya is also a muid. Rebbe Loz Oime Afa Nachash. Rabbi Yosef Tzavoya Zuapa. So if Tzavoya is an Appa, then a Bargalis can't be an Appa. Says Gemara like Hasha Kan B'Tzavoya Zachar. That Bryce is speaking about a male Appa, and Am Mishnah is speaking B'Tzavoya in the cave. It's speaking about an Appa in the cave. So they're two different things. Now says the Tanya Tzavoya Zachar Lacha Sheva Shanim. It seems that it metamorphosizes. That Tzavoya Zachar after 7 years, Nasa Talif becomes a bat. A Talif Lacha Sheva Shanim Nasa Arpad becomes an Arpad. Arpad Lacha Sheva Shanim Nasa Kimush. Kimush is a type of thorn. Kimush Lacha Sheva Shanim Nasa Choychak, also a thorn. Choyach Lacha Sheva Shanim Nasa Shade. Shidrei Shalodam Lacha Sheva Shanim Nasa Nachash. It becomes a Nachash. That's Bahani Milid like Koram Moedim. If you don't go ahead and say Moedim correctly, but if you say Moedim correctly, you don't have to worry about your spine becoming a nachash after you die. Again, there is a fabulous marsha over here. Esoterically speaks about if you can. It's not. I'd rather finish the Gemara. If we have time, we'll go back and do it. Okay, if we have time, we'll go back. It's very fascinating marsha. Now, when Melaz says afa nachash, fellas, it's mashma that he agreed with the other ones. It says that Melaz says right that that it's not a muad, but not tonight. Rabbi if he's going to say it's a muad, how could he say that? That V'nei parbis are not a muad. Says Nachash muad oilam. So Tani Nachash don't learn what. Don't learn afa Nachash. That what it's don't learn afa Nachash because the Nachash. In other words, Nachash is never a tam. It's always a muad. But not just don't learn word af. Learn the word Nachash. Now Shmuel's going to say something, and this is going to corroborate Pashtus Tosfos. Again, Tosfos said that it's shaykh by wild animals. It's shaykh the parsha of tam. Right? Rashi said it's not. The Rambam said it's not. So, not Amar Shmuel, Ari b'shus harabim, an Ari, a lion in b'shus harabim, doras v'achal potter. If it's doras, meaning it pounces upon it and it eats it while it's alive, it's potter. You know why? It's shein in b'shus harabim. Torah v'achal. However, if it rips it apart and eats it, chayev. Because that's Keren. Doras v'achal potter, even the urche lemidris, it's urche to go ahead and pounce upon it and eat it alive. Havilei k'moshe achla peres v'yirachos, davilei shem b'shus harabim upata. Toraf lav urchehu, to rip it apart and eat it when it's dead is not as urcha. To eat it right away. Good. So now, guys, very important. Let's get Shmuel down. Shmuel said two things: that a lion, if it's doras and eats it, that's normal. If it's Toraf and eats it, it's not normal. Doras means it's still alive. Torfa means it's ripped apart, it's dead. So it seems that the lion does not go ahead and eat dead meat. It will be Toraf to put it away. It won't be Toraf and eat it right away. So again, from this Gemara right away, like Shmuel, would be a riot to Tosfos, guys, right? There is a parsha of Keren by a wild animal. Guys, you had a problem, right? According to Rashi and Tosfos and the Rambam, what do they do with this Gemara? Right away, Shmuel is of the opinion. Now notice that the Rambam doesn't paskin like this. There's no little aleph or beis over here, right? Okay, but so here's the parsha of Keren. It says, you mean to tell me the treifa lav urchihu, for a lion to rip apart, it's not normal. Vaksiv, the pasuk says, Aryeh toiref b'dei geraisav, and Aryeh goes ahead and rips away for the purpose of its cubs. Gur Aryeh Yehuda, a cub. It says Gemara b'shvul geraisav. It'll rip for what? It'll rip apart for what? For its young. That it will do, but that's normal. But for itself, it won't rip apart. Itself, it's going to eat it fresh. Umechanek leliva isav, and it'll suffocate for its lioness. Says the Gemara b'shvil isav, but it itself is going to eat it when it's alive. V'yimale teref chayrav, and it fills its den with prey. Says b'shvil chayrav, because of its den. In other words, I simply said it won't rip apart and eat it. It will rip apart to store away or rip apart for other members of its pride, right? Umaynoisav treifa b'shulma'isa, because it's ma'in. It's locale where it lives. Okay, so therefore you answered up. So Shmuel's din again has steadfast. Treifa eats right. Treifa, it's not going to eat right away. That's Keren. Doras v'achal is good. V'atanya kasha and Shmuel v'chein hoya shenichnes l'chatzar nizik. An ari or a doiva in chaya, anyone chaya that enters the chatzar and nizik. Tarfa behema v'achla. If it rips apart the animal, eats it, right? Mishaling nezik shaling. You're going to pay what? Nezik shaling. But 1 second, fellas, you just told me that's mishuna. Guys, again, what does a lion do? Doras v'achal. It eats it alive. Taraf means it's dead. So if it's dead and you're eating it, then what? It's Keren, correct? It's Keren. So why are you paying Nesek Shaling? According to Shmuel. So says the Gemara, you know why you're paying Nesek Shaling? Because he ripped it away to put it away. And we said that's normal. That would be shame, that's normal, and therefore you're paying Nesek Shaling. Fred the Gemara, it doesn't say he ripped it apart to put it away. It said he ripped it apart and he ate it. It says Gemara, it changed its mind. Okay, the Gemara is going to ask the kasha, guys. Okay, the Gemara is going to ask the kasha. It changed its mind. In other words, when it ripped it apart to put away, it's takashain. When it ate it, then it's already Keren. But since when it ripped it apart was to put it away, it's shame. You're paying nesek shaling. Says the Gemara, Minoyadina, and how in the world do you know that when it ripped it apart, it was what to put it away, and he changed his mind, he ate it? Says the Gemara, V'oid. The Shmuel Nami Dil Mahachihu. If that's the case by Shmuel, right? What did Shmuel say, guys? Shmuel said that Taraf, if you went ahead, it's Doras v'achal pata, Taraf v'achal chayiv. Maybe why you chayiv? Maybe Taraf v'achal, maybe he changed his mind. So why you chayiv? Maybe he changed his mind. Says the Gemara, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak l'tzad in Ketani. Learn the words of Shmuel. Learn the words of the Brisa. Excuse me. Learn the words of the Brisa. L'tzadin. Okay, what was the Brisa, guys? The Brisa was Vatanya. Okay, Vatanya, about 10 lines down, a little longer. The first word in the line is Vatanya. And now we said two dinim. Tarfa behema ba'achla basam shalom nesek shalem. So we said the chaya that goes into the chatzar and nizik, tarfa va'achla. So we're learning is one thing, right? He ripped it apart and he ate. We're learning is one thing, which is a problem on Shmuel. Because like Shmuel, this is what? This is meshuna. It's not daras va'achal, it's tara va'achal. So now we're answering up the brisa. How's it going to answer it up? Shetarfa laniach. So read it this way, guys. Vatanya, tarfa, kama, tarfa behema, kama. He ripped apart the behema. Good. And why did he rip it apart? For what purpose? To put it away. That's normal. Va'achlo, or what did it do? It's daras. It landed upon it and it ate. So now it fits and goes both ways. It's shame. Says the Gemara. Let's start the Ketani. Shetarfa laniach, aydarsa va'achla, mishalemes nezek shalem. Guys, look at the Brisa again. I want you to get it clear. V'hatanya. Okay, the Brisa is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, about 14 lines down. V'hatanya. Here's our problem with Shmuel. Guys, Shmuel said if the lion rips it apart, it's Keren. Unless he puts it away. If he puts it away, it's shame. That's normal. How does a lion eat? It's daras, and it eats it alive. So we had a problem. In this brisa, seemingly, if we learn it as one case, is saying taraf is normal. Let's read it. V'chein chaya, and speak about any chaya, including a lion, shenichnas l'chatzara nizik, that enters the chatzara nizik, tarfa behema ba'achla, one case. It ate the animal, it ripped apart the animal, it killed it, and it ate it. Basar, Mishalim Nesek Shalem. You pay Nesek Shalem. But 1 second, Shmuel, you told me it's not normal. Why are you paying Nesek Shalem? Good. Obviously, that what? It's a problem according to Shmuel. So here's the way we're going to do it, guys. We're going to make it two separate cases. Watch. But Tanya, B'chein Chaya, Shenichnas L'chatza Hanizik, Tarfa Behema, Kama, it ripped apart an animal, and what did it do with the animal? It put it away. That's shame. Or Doras va'achla, I put in the word Doras, or Doras and it ate it, then that's shame. Mishalim nezek shalom. You're going to pay nezek shalom. So that removes the kasha on Shmuel. Ravina Amar, another way to remove the kasha on Shmuel. Ravina Amar, kikama Shmuel be'ari tarbus. He's speaking about an animal that is what? That is domesticated. It's not normal for it to do damage. So it's not normal for it to do damage. So since it's not normal for it to do damage, you're going to pay what? Nezek shalom. You're going to pay chatzi nezek. I feel darsa nami lechayev. Right? Even darsa also should be chayev. In other words, look at Shmuel, guys. Look at Shmuel's words. Go up to Shmuel. 4 lines down. Amar Shmuel ari b'shus harabim daras v'achol potter taraf achol chayev. You know why you chayev? Because we're saying Yechayev because it's not normal. Why is it not normal? Because this is a trained animal. Fred the Gemara, if that's a trained animal, why Doris v'achal are you pata? You should be Chayev there too. It's Meshuna. Once it's trained, anything that it does is Meshuna. It should be Keren. So obviously Ravina is not coming to explain Shmuel. Ravina must be coming to explain the Vahatanya. Again, one more time. If he's coming to explain Shmuel, it makes no sense. Right? Because what Rabbi Loza holds, once it's trained, there's a parsha of Keren. So you know why Torah is chayiv, guys? Outside. It's not normal, so you chayiv. Fred the Gemara, if that's the case, why when it's Doras are you pata? It's not normal. It's a trained animal. It shouldn't do any damage whatsoever. Why are you pata? So obviously Ravina can't be coming to explain Shmuel. Ravina must be coming to explain the Tanya. Must be coming to explain the Brisa. Okay? What did the Brisa say? V'chein chaya shenichlas l'chatzar anizik Tarfa behema basam b'shalim chatzi nezek shalim. So therefore, it's not normal, and therefore you can ask why is it paid nezek shalim. Ella Ravina Lava Shmuel. Mari's not learning on Shmuel. Ella Masnisan. He's learning on the Mishnah. Ki Tanya Masnisan. When did the Brisa learn? Not I said Mishnah. Brisa. Ba'ari Tarbis. V'aliv Derbalaza. Dama Lavurchihu. Fred Gemara. If that's the case, Ihachi Chatzi Nezek Boy L'Shlumei. Why are you paying Nezek Shalem? You should pay Chatzi Nezek. The Brisa said Taraf v'achla mishalim nezek shalim. But one second, you tell me it's a trained animal. That's not normal. You should pay Chatzi Nezek. It's Mishuna. So it's more the ayat. He did it 3 times. My high diktani law. Gabi told us the shane. Gabi told us the regel. Why are you learning it by told us the shane? It should be told us the regel. It's not in the wrong location. Boil misnaya says what a kasha enough name it's shver. It's a shver thing. Okay, so we have basically we have shot in Shmuel. Now notice we have a kasha. Like the way we spoke out, Machlokes Rashi and the Rambam on one side and Tosfos on the other side. From this whole Gemara, like Shmuel, it appears there is a parsha of Chatzi Nezek by these wild animals. So the Laka Mishnah answers. We didn't answer up Shmuel. Shmuel's from the base of the Gemara. We shver on Shmuel. In other words, we're coming up with these doichetik terutzim. The Rambam held these terutzim didn't hold water. Namely, he did not hold like Shmuel. Once he did not hold like Shmuel, there's no difference between ripping it apart. There's no difference between pouncing apart and eating it. Eating it. Shmuel's the one, the Amora Shmuel's the one who introduced the chilik between eating it dead and eating it alive, right? That eating it dead is keren and eating it alive is a shame. If Shmuel is slugged up, we have no sauce. Therefore, the Lechem Mishnah says in the Rambam, and we're going to learn that Pshan Rashi, that since he doesn't hold like Shmuel, because he held Shmuel's chilik based upon the chikas of the Gemara, the way we're pushing it away, Memelo Wat, they held that any way these animals do damage, there's only one, they're muwadim, and that's the way it is. That's the only way it is. You have, however, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Laza, be mechalik between the time they're domesticated or not. Like the Tanakhama, there's no such thing as domesticated lion. According to Rabbi Laza, there is a domesticated lion, and there would be a parsha, with the exception of the nachash. The nachash is always a muad. You can't train a cold-blooded animal. You can have a nachash as a pet for 20 years. It's going to treat you. It'll bite you the same way the 20th day as the first day. It doesn't make a difference. They're cold-blooded. They have no emotions whatsoever. A snake has no emotion. You can't train the snake. You can charm a snake, okay, but you can't train the snake. It's therefore everyone holds a nachash as a muad. Says the Mishnah. Ma bein tam lemuad. What's the difference between a tam and a muad? El shatam mishalim chatzi nezek migufoy u'muad mishalim nezek shalim and aliyah. A tam pays chatzi nezek from its body, and a muad pays nezek shalim from the aliyah. The Gemara is niskasha. My aliyah. What's the lashon of aliyah? Aliyah literally means addict, but it's mashma that you're paying. Now, even if Rashi explains, even if the animal is worth less, let's say the animal is worth $50, it does damage, $1,000 damage. It doesn't make a difference. You're not going to pay the body's not going to do the job. You're going to pay right from but it's a muad. You're going to pay from the house. Now, my aliyah, Amr Balaza, ma'ula sheben chasav. You're going to pay from your ma'ula sheben chasav. You're going to pay from your best property. You're going to pay. But you said meitav. You're going to pay meitav karka. Now, so aliyah is lashon ma'ula. The Gemara digresses now to discuss the lashon of ma'ula used in other places. The Chenu Oimer, the pasuk says regarding Chizkiyahu HaMelech. What does it say by Chizkiyahu? It says, Vayishkav Chizkiyahu im Avaisav. Chizkiyahu was nifter and he lied down with his fathers. Vayikberuhu, and they buried him. And here's the word we need: B'ma'ale kivrei b'nei David. In the Maila Kivrei Bnei David. What does that mean? Von Rabbi Laza, the Maila Eitzel Ma'ul M'Shem Mishpacha. They buried him next to the Ma'ul M'Shem Mishpacha. That Chizkiyahu is buried right next to what? My new David and Shlomo. He's buried right next to David and Shlomo. So you see, Maila means the Ma'ula, the really choice places, right? It says the choice places. Now, it's very interesting that the Gemara is going out of the way to tell you that why Chizkiyahu was buried in this locale. The Gemara in Daf Chav Bav Amid Aleph in Sanhedrin tells us a story about a person named Shevna. Shevna was the general of Chizkiyahu. Chizkiyahu was sieged by Sancheriv, 185,000 troops. We're going to see in Gemara and Chelik fellas that a Malach came out in the night and killed them, all of them, says it's amazing how many people were killed at that time. Shevna, he wanted to make peace with them. So he started going out, and he had a majority of people with him. He had a lot of people following him. He had more people, in fact, than Chizkiyahu that was loyal to Chizkiyahu. He starts going out with all these people, and he's in the front. A malach comes along and shuts the gate down. Shevna now is on the other side. He shows up to Sancheriv, and he has to plead his case. Now, he was so sure about him becoming king, he had gone ahead and dug in the crypt of David and of the Bnei Malchus based David. He went ahead and he made a place for himself. He made a place where Chizkiyahu was supposed to be. He took that place. Shevna now comes to Sancheriv. He didn't buy what he was saying. The Gemara says they tied his heels to a horse and they just dragged him away and they killed him. He died in a terrible way. Chizkiyahu, says the Marsha, was not buried in Dafka, the place where he's supposed to be buried, because the Russia Shevna went ahead and dug it. So where was he buried? The Maila, he went up. He was upgraded to David and Shlomo. A little history based upon the Gemara in Sanhedrin and an explanation of why he's buried there. Okay, the Gemara continues, and this is said by Asa, the Melech of Yehuda. It says Vayikberuhu b'kivraisav, and they buried Asa. Asher koroloi be'ir David, in the crypt that was buried in the Ir David. Vayishkivu b'mishkav asher milei b'samim v'zanim, and they lined him down in a mishkav that was full of b'samim uznim. My b'samim uznin. V'laz oimer zine. It was like b'samim. Shmuel ben Achmedi Amar b'samim shekolam areich behen boli de zima. It was b'samim that was so intoxicating that anyone who would inhale it, would smell it, would go and end up doing an act of znus. Now, Yirmiyahu, again, a digression about different things. Yirmiyahu is complaining that Anshe Anasais, they treated him terribly, and they wanted to kill him. And it says, Ki koru shucha l'lachdeni upachim tomnu l'ragloi. What does that mean? Why was Yirmiyahu complaining about that man of Anasais? Shechashduhu mizayna. They were choshening him for being with a woman of ill repute. Shmuel Nachmeni says worse. Shechashduhu anshe anasais me'eshes ish. They were choshening him for what? Being with an eshes ish. Now, Bishlan man yama shechashduhu mizayna. We understand hainu dichsev ki shucha amuka zayna. That's why the word is zayna is used. Elaman yama shechashduhu me'eshes ish. My shucha. Where is the zayna? It says more at the eshes ish ki nafke mechal zayna. An eshes ish will be asa to a kayin. Remember, we spoke of the Zayin is not necessarily a woman of ill repute. It could be a mice of act of snus with Asher to a Kayin. So therefore, what? Would make sense. So Bishlam the man Yamashach to Meshes Ish Hainu Dichsev Beata Hashem Yadata Eskol Atsasa Alai Lamaves. If their whole the Amen of Anasais wanted to kill Chizkiyahu, we understand they would be chayshid him for being with an Eshes Ish, which is the key of Misa. Elman the Yamashach Ashtum is Zayin and my Lamaves. Zayin is a Pnuya. There's no, it's asa deraisa, but it's not, it's death penalty. So why the one that says Zaina, what were the men of Anasa hoping to go ahead and accomplish? Says Gemara they threw him into quicksand, right? They threw him out into quicksand. I saw the Mashah says beautifully over here that Chizkiyahu was similar to Moshe, not Chizkiyahu. Yirmiyahu was similar to Moshe. They both were in the Snava for 40 years. Moshe the 40 years in the Midbar, and Chizkiyahu the 40 years before the Churban. Moshe was also chayshid ve'eshes ish. They used to say that, the Bnei Yisrael had murmurs about Moshe that he was chayshid ve'eshes ish. He separated from his wife. How's it possible that a boss of a dam to separate his wife not to be with somebody? And they were chayshid. So the same thing by Yirmiyahu. He also separated his wife for 40 years. How's it not possible? So therefore they were chayshid, both of them, for eshes ish. Okay, we'll stop over here. Bez Hashem, maybe not. Well, let's continue on. It says by Yirmiyahu. It says, "Yiyu muchshalum lefanecha be'es abcha aseh behem." Yirmiyahu was saying that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should take out his anger. Should always be angry at the men of Anasais. Amar Yirmiyahu lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ribono Shel Olam afilu b'shah she'osim tzedakah. Even when they do tzedakah, hichshilim b'nei adam she'einu mu'ganim. Let them end up giving tzedakah to people who were not. They were not making the midst of tzedakah because these people were not right to give tzedakah to. Kadesh lo yikablu aleim schar. They shouldn't go ahead and be makabel schar. They in order that they should not want to be makabel schar. Okay, we'll pick it up here tomorrow. The death of the caver of Chizkiyahu. Thanks everyone for listening. Share will be tomorrow morning at 9:15. Bez Hashem, 9:15 tomorrow morning.